Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we're going to build a simple structure, yet it has a lot of character to it. Now, the kit is currently available on my website at jasonjensentrains.com. And if you are a paid Patreon member, you receive a discount. And the discount code can be found on my Patreon page at patreon.com/Jason Jensen Trains. All right, like I said, this structure has a lot of character to it. I'm very excited to build it. All right, let's get to it. Okay, here are all the pieces. Let's start with the wood walls. So we'll put all this to the side and get these cut out. Okay, the walls are cut out. Now we'll add nail holes using our Pounce wheel. I'll put a link in the description of the video. Okay, we'll quick lift some of the boards. I'm going to use a brand new blade. So I'm simply sliding the blade under one of the boards and then lifting it. And then on some of them, if they're close to a nail hole, I'll trim that little end off. Maybe even trim the board a little bit, cut it in half. Okay, I just put bracing on all of the walls. As you can see, I put some weights on them. I can put links for these in the description. Okay, we'll go over the walls quick. These two, you can see there's a slight angle at the top. It's taller on this end, shorter at this end. The bracing goes all the way to the edge on both sides, and then one down the middle. This come in 1/8 on both sides and one down the middle. And same with this. Come in 1/8 on both sides and then one down the middle. Okay, now we can stain these. And we're using Ocean Depths, and the stain is from besttrains.com. Okay, I finished staining the walls. Now we'll let these dry. While our walls are drying, let's cut out the base. We'll set this aside because we're going to use these later. Okay, you may have to bend it a little bit just to make sure it's nice and flat. Now we're going to spray a gray primer on both sides of this. Okay, I sprayed both sides with the gray primer, and this is what I used, Rust-Oleum. Now if you'd like, you can carve some cracks in it. Okay, now we'll mix some paint. Let's see. We're going to take slate gray and desert sand. half and half. And we're going to sponge that color on here. Okay, I did some sponging on the front. Now we're going to take a brush and paint the edges. Make sure you do all the edges. And we're going to want to sponge that little pad in the back. Now we'll start to paint our walls. And we're using the color Thicket. And I'm using a brush that's maybe 1/4 of an inch wide. And you want to just drag it. I've got a bunch of paint on the brush. We're lightly dragging it so that some of the wood is showing through. Then you can go back in and kind of dab it on individual boards. Now let's take this sheet and cut out our front walls. We'll cut out the windows and frames and doors. We're going to first glue these two pieces together. So this one gets glued on top of this one. And then we're going to cut apart these two and glue them together. And same with these. Make sure the four corners line up. Okay, we'll just put a weight on that just to make sure it doesn't curl. Now I'll take this door, put glue on the back, and we'll do the same to this. Again, make sure your corners all line up. Okay, I sprayed all of the doors and windows, the storefront, and then all of the extra pieces that were on both sides of the base in that sheet. So I sprayed all of that with this. Now we'll set these parts to the side. We're just going to focus on these. It's all of the windows and window frames, the two doors, and the storefront. And we're going to take iced coffee from Folk Art. That's the color of the paint. It's called iced coffee. We're going to take a sponge and very lightly, we're just going to add some chipped paint to it. Now I forgot there is 3 pillars. They're in the kit. There's 3 of them. And so I'm going to spray those. I should have glued them on first before I sprayed it. But that's okay. We'll spray them the white color and then get those glued on the front here. Okay, here are the pillars. And you'll notice the front of them, they're really dark because the laser cuts that and it burns the wood. Now, if you're going to spray this, I would do probably 4 really light coats. Spray it once, let it dry really good, and spray it again. If you want, you could spray it with a dull coat or just some type of clear coat to seal that wood so that the paint doesn't soak into it so much. You could give it 2 or 3 coats of clear, then spray your white over the top of it. So I've glued on all of the window frames, and now I'm painting the inside. I'll quick show you on this. So I just have a small flat brush, and hopefully you can see that. Flip it around. So I'm dragging my brush forward. Okay, the windows are all glued in. I put corner trim on this wall, and I put corner trim on this wall. Okay, let's cut out our signs so that we can get some put on the walls. I did put a light wash of deep ochre. Sorry. Just a touch and a lot of water. A lot of water. Now let's take Thicket, that was our wall color, get most of it off of the sponge, okay? Definitely went heavier towards the bottom. I'll do the same on this. Okay, then we'll take the iced coffee, use the other end of the sponge. Very little. Oh my gosh, very little of this, okay? Do not go heavy with this. And this you can do over the entire wall. I just took the deep ochre and painted window shades. Okay, let's assemble our walls. Let's see, we'll start with the side wall here and the back wall. And I just noticed I put the door on this side, but I put the concrete pad on the opposite side. I'll have to change that in the computer. I must have just flipped the file. Okay, when you're gluing on your front wall, be sure to set this in place. So that goes right there, and then this goes right on top of it. So you want to just gently press that down till it's right on top of that bottom wall section. Okay, I taped the picture of the store on the back. And then glued the door in place, and you can see it's open just a little bit. And then I glued the strip. There's I don't know, 3 or 4 of them, and I glued one right on there. Okay, now let's go ahead and attach that. First we need to paint the edges. If you put the paint on thick enough, you actually can't see all the different layers. I'll show you this side. It's not done yet. You can see all those little layers. Now after that dries, if you want to, you can go in with the iced coffee and do a little chipping on it. Okay, I sprayed the underside of the roof card the white, and then I also sprayed the trim white and glued that on. And I got this glued on the front. Okay, let's get our tar paper put on the roof. Okay, the tar paper is on. Now let's work on the signs. We have a sign for the roof and a sign that hangs off the front. Okay, here are the signs. Let's get those cut out. Okay, here is the support for the rooftop sign. So these little A-frames get glued to the top of the square piece. You can see all the way to the top. Then the circle gets glued up a little bit higher. I didn't think about it when I designed it, but there are parts or gears that hang down, and you can see that gear is level with the bottom of the square piece. It has to be up a little bit higher because of this trim at the top. When that's there, you want to be able to see it from ground level. So it has to be a little bit higher. Okay, let's get this big sign that I cut out. This is in the kit. So just cut it out and glue it to the front of that. Now try to get it as straight as possible. Okay, and we'll take a sponge and we're going to add a little bit of rust to that. It's going to sit right up on top like that. Okay, we'll lay that down. Now let's do the sign on the front of the building. Okay, I cut out the circles. Now I'm going to put glue on the back side of these. Okay, there's one. Okay, there's the other. Now, okay, there it is. Okay, let's get some rust on these. You know, there's one more sign. let's do the last sign. It is this one here. Okay, I just cut out these little square ones that go on here. You know, every single time I cut out signs, I use a brand new blade. I just feel like if you don't, you risk ruining the signs. And you can buy a box of 100 of these blades, and it might be like $10 for the whole box. Don't quote me on that. I'm just, but I think that's what it is. So every single time you go to cut signs, use a brand new blade. Okay, now we can add rust to these signs. All right, all the signs are on, and the kit is finished. I do need to move that pad over and I'll do that. So the kit that you get will have that fixed. I hope you enjoyed today's build. This structure is so fun and it goes along really well with my other storefront structures that are on my website. Again, the kit is available on my website at jasonjensentrains.com. And again, if you are a paid Patreon member, you receive a discount. All right, well, thank you all so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And until next time, stay motivated and happy modeling, everyone.